What makes a superhero powerful in the realm of teleportation? Welcome back, Nerd Squad. It's me, Amanda. You might not recognize me because today I'm Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider. We're about to answer that question though, but first I want to know who you think is going to make our cut and why you think they are so powerful. Let me know in the comments. Number 10, Supergirl. When you think teleporter, you don't normally think Supergirl, but that's honestly kind of why I wanted to include her on this list. She doesn't take the top spot, but Supergirl, Linda Danvers, is able to teleport. Also, I acknowledge that Linda might not be the first person you think of when you think of Supergirl, but that's also why you probably forgot about this whole teleportation rigmarole. During her time merged with Matrix, Linda's powers actually allowed her to teleport to any place that she'd ever been to, also uniquely doing so through the flare of a flaming S, because why not? Although I guess for you it'd be the opposite. Is this a flaming S on camera? And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, please show us that you love us by hitting that subscribe button. Number 9, Blink. While not as powerful as some of the others on our list, I do think that Blink deserves her spot as one of the most powerful teleporters. We don't give her enough love on this channel, and whether we're talking about the more recognized Blink from the Age of Apocalypse reality of Earth 295, who many know through the series Exiles, or the main reality version of the character who hails from Earth 616, Blink has a pretty cool look and a pretty cool power set. Her range for teleportation is to the moon and back, but something really cool that she can do that I think makes her stand out is throw projectiles, often in the shape of javelins, which upon hitting their target force them to teleport. I like the idea of teleportation being used both in this potentially defensive or offensive manner in battle. And while no, that isn't a unique concept for teleporters, the idea of throwing energy matter javelins to cause someone to teleport is. Who else does that? Only Blink. Number 8, Booster Gold. Booster Gold doesn't actually have any powers of his own, but he does have stolen future tech. And this equipment has actually allowed him to teleport himself from time to time, coming to the past in the hopes to pose as a hero, which is exactly what he does actually. In fact, he doesn't pose as a hero, he is a hero, okay? Shout out to all the Booster Gold fans out there in the comments. The thing that really limits Booster is that he's quite reliant on his tech in order to move through time, and generally doing so creates more problems than it solves. Number 7, Tempus. Tempus also travels primarily through time, but that of course is also a mode of teleportation. You don't just have to teleport through space to be considered a teleporter, at least not on my list. We accept all kinds here. Super inclusive teleporter list. Whatever you want to teleport through, you're allowed here. Initially, the main problem with Tempus was that she didn't have great control over her powers, although over time this has actually gotten better. She could displace time within time bubbles of her own creation for about 1 minute, but becoming stressed actually caused her powers to flare up unintentionally, which caused her at one point to become displaced in time years in the future. I believe in 2099, or one of the 2099 futures. Training allowed her to gain better control of this, and now only the most dire of circumstances are capable of potentially triggering this kind of response from Eva Bell. Number 6, Manifold. While not a direct teleporter in the traditional sense, Manifold's mutant power set effectively does allow him to teleport, or at least appear to teleport. What he's really doing is communicating with the universe and asking it to bend for him. The only downside with Manifold is while extremely powerful in his home universe of Earth 616, his powers do not extend outside this universe. So if Eden Fessy traveled outside of Earth 616, he would be pretty useless as a teleporter. However, I am confident that one day he'll evolve beyond this limitation and perhaps even be able to communicate with other universes as well, getting them to also bend as he wishes. Number 5, Dr. Manhattan. I mean, Dr. Manhattan is just one of the most powerful heroes when it comes to, well, pretty much anything. Although he often tends to take a more neutral stance, I'd say, than a heroic stance. John Osterman, as he once was known, may also be one of the most powerful characters featured on this list. In fact, I would say he's the most powerful. However, while he can warp reality, when it comes to the straight up power set of teleportation, he can bend space to teleport himself or others, beings or objects, but you know, that's about it. Sure, he can create a whole new reality around you and then boom, decimate it right after that, transporting you in that way, but he isn't actually moving you in that instance, more manipulating reality around you. So his teleportation powers in terms of how he uses them are fairly basic, though of course with limitless power, which is why he does rank higher on this list. He has no real limitations on teleporting himself or others, although I don't think we've seen him do so on a multiversal level or through time just yet, but as I said, why teleport someone that that way when you can just, manipulate reality or time around them instead. Number 4. Cable. Cable is able to both time slide and body slide through the multiverse. As a result, this makes him one of the most powerful teleporters around. The really crazy part though is that this isn't Cable's inherent ability as a mutant. Cable himself is known instead for being a gifted telepath and telekinetic. However, because much of his focus using these abilities, especially his telekinesis, is used in preventing and staving off the techno-organic virus, which is slowly consuming him, we don't usually first think of his inherent mutant powers when we think of him. Instead, we most commonly associate Cable with big guns and his ability to time travel and also teleport via body slide. It's even been implied, in fact, that his time travel abilities though could be psionically activated and thereby are actually connected to his mutant powers, so fun fact. Number 3. Dr. Fate. Possessing the power of Magik generally means you get a lot of other power sets, because Magik can be used to explain the reasoning behind how you got them. Take Dr. Fate for example. He is known to be one of the most powerful Magik users in the entire DC universe, and so, of course, he can also teleport. And not just through space either. Whoever wears the helm of Naboo and becomes Dr. Fate possesses enough power to teleport across space, worlds, and even universes. Dr. Fate can not only teleport you from America to Australia like that, but can also teleport you off-world and even to a completely different Earth, reality, or dimension altogether. That's how powerful he is. Dr. Fate across many different forms has not only been able to teleport themselves, but also teleport others, including superheroes and non-superhero beings. They have been shown as teleporting as far as outer space and using their power to not just teleport to other realities, but even simply using them to peer through a window into them. Number 2. Magik. Magik is an insane teleporter, and also an insane character, in terms of her power set. Well, and sometimes in terms of her mentality too, but hey, that's what I love about her. Her sometimes off the wall and unconventionally sassy self. Magik is just a great character all around, really. But when it comes to teleportation, it's often hard to find those who operate in her league. Magik uses stepping discs to teleport, moving through limbo, to travel through space, or even through time. In fact, Magik can also potentially use her teleportation powers to travel through the multiverse as well. Or at least, that's been implied in realities that were meant to be mirrors of Earth 616, implying that this would also be capable for the main 616 version of this character as well. While the limitation remains that she must travel through limbo to teleport at all, we don't actually know if this limitation comes from conditioning and could be unlearned or is predisposed to her power set. Some speculate that Magik must travel through limbo due to her connection to the dimension after she was taken and kept there as a child by Belasco. And if that's true, then she could basically just be like, actually I don't need limbo anymore, I figured that out. Number 1. Raven. I love Raven, and honestly, she is super powerful, which is why she deserves her spot on many of the lists that we feature her on. And honestly, even some where she doesn't make our cut. She deserves a spot there too, I'm sure. While typically associated with Magik, this does not mean that Raven doesn't have other skills. Also, as I've said before, and I'll likely say it again, Magik is a power that usually comes with a plethora of other abilities, because Magik. In Raven's case, teleportation is one of those. She can not only teleport distance, but also travel to other dimensions as well. And beyond that, Raven is also capable of teleporting herself and others through the time stream, making her kind of ultimate in terms of teleportation abilities, traveling through time, reality, and space. That's a lot of teleportation. And that's all the time we have for today. We would have more time if I could teleport, but I can't. Truly though, there are so many amazing teleporters in the comics, I could go on and on. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube. Bye!